Hey everyone, welcome back to Jamboree Chemistry. Today I want to go over a few tips for the board Goomba Lagoon. I've recently been focusing a lot on endgame analysis, but today I want to go over some opening moves that can help you better position yourself as the game progresses. This video is going to specifically focus on how to play the Sightseer bonus on Pro Rules while simultaneously putting yourself in a good overall position. So everyone, let's jump into it. The first thing you're going to want to do is choose the cellular shopper before the game begins. On turn 1, you're then going to want to use it and immediately purchase the triple dice. This is assuming that they're not already sold out, but most often they won't be this early. When you roll, you're going to then make sure you go right at this fork so that you're in position to make your way to the Lucky Space Island. On turn 2, you're then going to use your triple dice, get to the Lucky Space Island, and loop around until you eventually land on one of the Lucky Spaces, in which you'll continue to capitalize on your Sightseer equity by taking a double dice. Don't worry about your lack of progression through the board, as you most likely won't have enough coins to capitalize on this item shop, especially after the turn 1 purchase of the triple dice, and you won't be able to steal a star from Boo for the reasons of not having enough coins as well as no one else having a star, so getting there is definitely not an immediate priority. You may be able to keep the triple dice in your pocket and save it for a more potent situation if your turn 1 dice roll goes well, and you really won't need it to get to the Lucky Space Island before the high tide at the end of turn 2. Turns 3 and 4 should be spent using at least one double dice while taking an additional 2 on the Lucky Spaces. You may choose to take coins instead if you're particularly struggling with minigames and your coin equity is particularly low. You should be keeping an eye on the item shop inventory and planning to have enough coins if the golden pipe is still available. Either way, you're going to want to make sure that you have at least one double dice left in your pocket when the tide goes back down. Sorry about the presentation for this next segment. After looking through the recording of this game, apparently no one, including myself, checked the map during turn 5, so I don't have a screenshot of the position during turn 5. Because of this, I used a Google image of a random game that I found from turn 1, but hopefully the elaboration will still make sense. On turn 5, you have a couple of options. One is going right and hitting this item shop, while positioning yourself to pass this low tide path before the end of turn 6. This is the obvious choice if the golden pipe is still available and you have the necessary coins. If the golden pipe is sold out, you also have the option of buying a warp box. While not as potent as the golden pipe, is still a warp item, which can be very useful on this board as half of the time your mobility is restricted. The other option is going left and making your way towards this item shop, in which you'll have the opportunity to buy a triple payday dice, as well as set off the volcano for potential golden Goombas. The decision of which direction to take should be heavily influenced by where the star is currently positioned and your ability to reach it before another player, as well as the overall star portals that are still in play. If we look here, we can see that there are 1, 2, 3 star portals directly in your path going left that are unavailable if you go right. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 star portals that are available if you go right, and are able to continue through the low tide path before the end of turn 6. While these star portals are reachable by going left and then coming around this way, it is unlikely that you'll be able to pass the low tide path in time. There is also the added factor that these 3 star portals are in an area that you can loop around and pass through multiple times during high tide. So if the star is not there the first time around, there is a chance you can get it if it appears before you loop around. This is not the case with any of these star portals, as this is a one-way path. This, as well as getting to Boo, makes going right the slightly better board position. Assuming the golden pipe is sold out, I also prefer to buy the warp box as opposed to getting the triple payday dice. Yes, the triple payday dice is a great value, especially with the Sightseer bonus, but there are so many opportunities to get acceleration items with Lucky Spaces that you really don't need it. In contrast, you won't have nearly as many opportunities to get a warp item, so making sure to grab a warp item at this item shop, for this board in particular, is very important. This is why the golden pipe is especially valuable on this board, because it acts as a way to get a star at the same time as acting as a warp item. If you do go left to pick up a star in the immediate area, you may consider getting a swap mirror rather than a triple payday dice at the comic shop. This is due to the fact that the warp box may be sold out at the Koopa shop, or at least on the way to being sold out before you get there, and again, you may prefer to have at least one warp item in your pocket as you head towards the latter half of the game. So, on turn 5, I used my double dice, rolled a 12, and made my way to the fork. I had to go left, as the star was positioned on that side of the board, and I had rolled enough to pass it. I then passed the item shop, in which I did get a triple payday dice, as opposed to the swap mirror. The reason I did this was that I knew that the other item shop still had 2 warp boxes left, so I was most likely going to be able to pick up my warp item on the following turn, which meant that the triple payday dice could help me on the following turn to execute more acceleration and potentially pass the low tide path to get to the other side of the board. After this, I got the star, passed the volcano, and set off the golden Goombas. On turn 6, I used my triple payday dice, rolled a 15, got a second star that conveniently landed in front of me, made my way to the item shop, got my warp box, and passed through the low tide path to land safely on the ship. So, that's how you can set yourself up with the Sightseer bonus specifically. You may be asking, can you do this with the event bonus as well as the slowpoke bonus? And the answer is kind of, but it doesn't quite work as well. The reason being that without the conjunctive equity of traveling extra spaces for the bonus star, the additional acceleration items don't add as much overall value. Don't get me wrong, it's always good to have acceleration items in your pocket, but without the added component of building equity towards the bonus star, you may consider making your way towards this item shop instead to try to get the golden pipe right away, or something else such as a custom dice or a warp box. If you're playing with the slowpoke bonus, then an excess of acceleration items can end up hurting you. You shouldn't bypass getting acceleration items just for the slowpoke bonus, as overall mobility is still more important than one singular bonus star, but it just doesn't provide the added value over something more powerful, such as the golden pipe. I want to point out that even if I had not gotten lucky with the star placements and I hadn't received any stars, I would still have solid item equity, strong bonus star equity, and great board position. I would also have 0 stars, but an extra 40 coins, leaving me with 60. Well everyone, that's all I have for today. Please do let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Also drop a like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys next time.